This is the plaintiff, William Colburn. He says the defendant hired him to be her nanny, and everything fell apart when they got into a fight over some dirty dishes in the sink. The defendant flipped out, threw his stuff out of his room and onto the street, and eventually it got thrown out into a dumpster. She refuses to reimburse him for his losses, and he's suing her for the $2,045.11 he's owed. This is the defendant, Tyree Ruiz. She says the plaintiff simply decided one day not to care for her kids anymore or clean the house. The plaintiff moved out, left all of his junk piled high in his former room for over a month, and the landlord came in and tossed it all out into a dumpster out back. She has no idea why he's now coming after her and owes nothing. That's for darn sure. She's accused of throwing it all away.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant hired him to be a nanny and it was a disaster. But the defendant says the plaintiff abandoned the job, so pay him? No way. It's the case of Nanny got her goat.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, William Colburn, you are suing Tyree Ruiz for $2,045.11 in damages for items of yours that you say she illegally threw out when things didn't work out between you two. How long have you two known each other?
About 7-8 months.
7 or 8 months, okay. And how is it that you ended up living in her house?
My sister called me and told me that they're having a little barbecue and I should come up. And I came up and basically never left.
Okay, but I understand. Your sister told you there was a barbecue, and therefore you ended up moving into this lady's house who's not your sister. You're going to have to tell me a few more facts. Okay.
I went up there and to the barbecue to help out and to
help out what? The barbecue? What does your sister have to do with her?
My sister was living there before I was living there.
Okay.
And then I started cleaning up the house because it was messy.
Okay.
So then she asked me, do you want to live here and help out with the kids? And
how many kids does she have?
4.
So you decided you would live there and help her out with the kids?
Yes.
So you were the nanny?
Yes.
So he was the nanny?
Yes, Your Honor, but that's not how it happened.
How did it happen? I'm dying to know.
My husband passed away
I'm sorry to hear
in
that.
August, and I found myself in the position that I had 4 small children under the age of 7, all boys, and I was in a situation where I had another person staying with me, and Mr. Colburn is her brother, and she says, look, my brother's in a jam, you know, he's really good with kids. Can you see if this will work with him? Because she was moving out. She had found a new boyfriend and she was moving.
Okay.
So when Mr.
How did you know his sister?
We just have been friends for a long time.
And was she living in your house helping you with the kids?
Yeah, she
when
had
did your
been
husband
there.
pass away?
August of 2010.
How did he pass away?
Long story. But he was despondent over the death of my youngest son. And it was very sudden.
I'm sorry, you had another child besides the 4?
Yes, my 5th child passed away in July. And then my husband passed away 54 days later.
I'm so sorry.
And his sister was at my house that entire time with me because it was just overwhelming and too many things are going on. And then it came a time where she could no longer stay.
Are you pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing 8 days.
Okay. How old are you?
35.
Are you done?
I am finished. This is my only daughter.
That's a girl?
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you.
Thank you. So there came a time when she no longer could stay. And she told me that Mr. Colburn had helped her in the past and he was a really nice gentleman.
But what do you know about this guy? You don't know anything about him. You bring him into your house to watch your 4 boys? How do you know he's not a child molester?
No, I trusted him.
You trusted him? Why? Because you met him at a barbecue?
No, I trusted him through her because I knew she would never let her children ever be with anyone that... And he really was good. Like, the situation was good. My boy's father passed away. Mr. Colburn met them and they quickly attached to him. And about October, I says to him, I says, look, I says, I can't offer you any cash. I can offer you a place to stay. I says, my boys are all gone during the day. I says, you can go to school, you can get a CDL, you can do something else because I don't want you to be stuck here. And Mr. Colburn chose to do nothing. He didn't go to the Department of Social Service and try to get himself any type of income. He didn't enroll himself in school. He didn't do anything. And then January, I have to say I was very despondent over the death of my husband and my son. And when I snapped out of it, my kitchen looked like a crack den, and there was no dishes washed.
It looked like a crack den because there was crack in it, or
no,
it just looked
because
messy?
it looked like it was abandoned and neglected for as many months as he so chose.
Okay, and you just didn't notice it because you were so depressed?
I never got out of the bed, and the reason why I had to get up is because Mr. Colburn disappeared. Like, he never came back that night. And that's when I had to get up because Mr. Colburn just chose one night not to come back.
When you say get up, you literally mean that you were in bed for all those months?
Yes, ma'am. I was very despondent. I was married for 14 years to my husband. My son was 2 weeks due to being born, and he passed away
in utero.
And it took me 3 days to give birth. It was a very, very despondent situation. Mm-hmm. And I trusted Mr. Colburn. And when I confronted him after he came back from this escapade, he was very cocky, and he said, I'm a grown man, and you're not going to talk to me any way you want to, and you don't have anybody that can put me out of this house, and I'm not leaving. And I became very afraid, and I went and I got myself an aluminum baseball bat, and I stood in my kitchen washing my dishes. Oh, I woke up that day, ma'am. And I got myself an aluminum bat, and I stood in my kitchen sink, and I washed dishes, and I told him, I said, Mr. Colburn, I said, you can go upstairs, you can go for a walk, but I refuse to let you talk to any man in my house the way you choosing to do right now. And he said, what are you gonna do about it? And I called the police.
This was in January?
Yes, ma'am.
January 25th.
Yes, ma'am.
So are male nannies as good as female nannies?
Yes, they are, particularly if you have boys. My boys loved their male nanny.
Okay, let's go to a guy. Male nannies as good as female nannies?
Yes, I think...
Okay, you said yes. What do you think?
I think yes. Same answer.
Anybody think no here? Oh, somebody in the back. No way. What a jerk! I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Going inside the courtroom.
So you called the police.
And the police officer came out, and he said to me, he says, ma'am, he says, what seems to be the problem? I said, Mr. Colburn is an employee. I said, sir, I said, you need to remove this man from my house. The police officer didn't want to do that, so I was extremely hysterical and despondent. And I said, if you leave Mr. Colburn here, there will be brains on my kitchen floor. I told the officer that because I meant it with everything in my heart, because I would never have trusted someone to live in my house and allow my children to live in filth when I was so far gone. I trusted this man to make sure that he was holding me down. He lived in the house.
Are you mad at him or are you mad at you?
No, I'm mad at me.
Right.
I'm mad at me because I trusted someone and I got burnt. And I've learned I know
you've been through a lot. I understand
ma'am.
You've been through a lot, but you got to pull your act together because you got 4 little kids who are depending on you to be rock solid and to get it together.
I learned that.
Okay.
I learned that.
Now, you apparently, everything comes to a head on January 25th. You tell me about January 25th.
At the time when she called the police, I said, I've been here 6 months. You know, I'm actually legalized to stay here until 30 days, and then I could leave.
Well, you're not a tenant.
I know I'm not a tenant.
You're an employee.
But also at the same time, I was living there. I had no place to go.
I understand you're living there, but did you were under the impression that gives you tenant rights?
No, I'm not saying that.
Right, I think you were. I think you were telling her. You're not telling me that because I'm going to argue against you. But and I know what I'm talking about. But you might have been saying that to her that day, right? And that sort of set her off even worse, right? All right. So the police get there, and what did the police do?
They said. Technically went downstairs and told her, you're right, you can't just throw him out like that. And that's when she became hysterical and started throwing my stuff down the steps.
What, with the police there?
With the police there, the police were there. And then they said to make things, just to escalate the situation, to just leave. So then after they told me to leave, Lascelles, my sister's husband, came in and was like, listen, you could stay at my house. The police said,
is your sister's husband here?
Yeah, he's right here.
Okay, so January 25th, you do that. Now, apparently, the basis of this lawsuit are the items that she threw out sometime when?
March the 12th.
March the 12th in a dumpster. Why were your things still there from January 25th to March the 12th?
Because at the time, I went to DSS and they sent me to Valhalla. I was homeless. The only way I could get my stuff is if I do it on my own. And I was limited, and I was far away. So I'm not going to walk from Valhalla to Peekskill.
So how long do you believe she has to store your stuff before she just has to store it forever?
No, I didn't want her to store forever.
Okay, well, she stored it for a month and a half. Her position is after a month and a half, Judge, he's not coming back for his stuff. His problems aren't my problems. I got my own problems. I got 4 kids. I'm pregnant. I take it your husband took his life.
Yes, ma'am.
My husband, she's got a whole host of problems. Everybody's got problems. Your problems are really important to you, but her problems are really important to her. So she doesn't really care about your problems. So after a month and a half, don't you think that maybe you should who are all those people? 4 people. None of those people could give you a ride and try to get stuff out of there little by little every day?
Nope.
Well then, okay, so then that's on who though? Do you understand? Pretty much the standard is after 30 days, come on. In your case, it's well beyond the 30 days. And I am not in a position to say you can just keep your stuff there as long as you want. If you were a tenant and you'd moved out, it'd be the same thing.
But wasn't it February?
But you're not a tenant. You're an employee. And you've really set up your own house there because you don't have a place to leave your stuff because you were in a bad situation before. That's fine. I understand everybody has problems, but that doesn't mean you get to leave your stuff there with, like it's a free storage. It's not. You know it. Verdict for the defendant.
All right, guys, just one here, please.
Well, what's the plaintiff going to have to say after coming out on the losing end of this verdict from Judge Millian here? What floor is yours here for comment?
It is what it is. Like, there's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do to change it. Next time, do stuff on my own.
Well, if you turn the tables and put yourself in her shoes, how much is she supposed to put up with?
I understand that. But I've done a lot, though. Mm-hmm. You got to take that into consideration. I took these kids in like they were mine, and they're not even mine. I did a lot for you. I waited on you hand and foot. At least you could do is give me some time. But it is what it is.
All right. Okay, right around the corner there. All right, so step on in here. How difficult has this been for you to get to this point with all this?
It's been very difficult because it was traumatic for the kids. They were attached to William, and one day he decided that he wasn't in agreement with what we agreed to. And I became to the point where I had to pull a bat. And I think the moral of this story is watch who you let in your house.
Wasn't he valuable to you when he was taking care of those kids for that?
He was, but all of the problems that had started after weren't worth it.
Over to Harvey now.
Okay, good. The judge said that after 30 days, it's considered abandoned, but you got to understand the rules vary from state to state. So before you take any action on arguably abandoned property, you should check with the local police department on the local rules. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.